Welcome back, my Speak Your Truthers. It's only fitting today because this is going to be a show about domestic violence awareness that I wear a shirt that I created and, you know, put this vinyl print that I made on the shirt, and I want you to know exactly what it says, okay? It says, "My life matters, so I chose me and left before I was a statistic. Now I am a domestic violence warrior. Not a survivor, but a warrior." So, this show is dedicated to all my warriors out there that have been in a domestic violence situation and have overcome it and also survived it and can actually say that you are also alive and haven't became a statistic, because there are a lot of women out there that and men that became a statistic because they're no longer with us, okay, or their kids are no longer with us. So this is a dedication and a show for those ones that are no longer with us, okay? So, if you've never been in a domestic violence situation, excuse me, you guys, I just need to adjust this a little bit. If you've never been in a domestic violence situation, it's a possibility that you may be in a domestic violence situation at some point. So, I hope that you never get into a situation like that, like I found myself in. But if you do, there are different things that you can be aware of, right? A lot of times I've talked to women and they're like, "Oh, my boyfriend, he's, so protective, and he doesn't want me to do this, and he doesn't want me to hang out with my friends because he loves me so much, and he doesn't want me to wear this outfit, and he doesn't want me to do this and do that." But they take it as love. That's not love. That's control, number one. And those are one of the number one symptoms of someone that's going through a domestic violence situation or about to embark on a domestic violence situation, okay? So, those are clues. Oh, he just held me down because he didn't want me to leave. Oh, I ran into his fist. It wasn't him trying to hit me. I ran into it, making excuses. Those are some of the things that we as women do, or you don't tell your family. Or once you tell your family what's going on, they're, giving you reasons that you shouldn't leave, so you don't want to be that family member either. Oh, you got these kids. Oh, you're married. Marriage is sacred. You shouldn't leave. Where are you going to go? Who's going to want you with kids? I mean, I heard it all. As a mother of two, I heard it all. So it was like the bricks were stacking up against me. Like, how am I going to do this? And then I thought to myself, right? I did it before him. I worked hard before him. Why I can't continue to work hard and take care of my kids by myself, right? So I made some notations and I want to share them. And number one, if you are in a domestic violence situation, I have on our community tab a number that you can call to get assistance. So make sure to be checking out the community tab. That's number one. Number two, if you're in a domestic violence situation, don't make excuses. Don't listen to excuses that your family might tell you. If you're in a domestic violence situation, get out. I don't want you to be a statistic. I want you to overcome it. I want you to be a survivor, a warrior, and then share your experience with other women so that they could leave. Because that's what I do now. I actually went to a domestic violence event today. Thank you, Sylvia, for inviting me. I had a really nice time. I'll probably post some of the pictures in the community tab so you guys can see. And probably a couple of the videos as well that I took. And you'll get to see that it's men and women that are dealing with domestic violence situations, okay? At one time, it was just women, right, that we were hearing about. But now it's men and women. So we have to all be there for each other so that we can all overcome it, okay? Okay, so it says what it means to me personally. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced the same form of physical violence by an intimate partner. Domestic violence includes a range of behaviors such as slapping, shoving, and pushing. 1 in 7 women, you hear that? 1 in 7 women and 1 in 25 men have been injured by an intimate partner. Globally, an estimated 736 million. Let me say that again. An estimated 736 million women, almost 1 in 3, have been subjected to physical and or sexual intimate partner violence. 736 million, you guys. Non-partner sexual violence, or both at least once in their life. 30% of women aged 15 or older. When I was reading this, I didn't know it was so astronomical. You know what I mean? But as someone that has experienced it, I said I would never go through it again. And one thing I could tell you is I was very protective of my abuser. Right? Because I thought, mostly because he made me feel like no one would believe me. And basically like he was the only family I had, right? And because a lot of times I didn't have my family come around unless they wanted something, I was subjected to a lot of innuendos from him. Like, your family doesn't even come around. Your family doesn't care about you. I'm the only one here. So what, I gotta get abused by you because you're the only one here? Like, make it make sense. So those are some things, some manipulations that an abuser will use, you know? And let me say something else too. I always felt like I had self-esteem about myself. I always kept myself up. You know what I mean? Always wanted to get dressed up and whatnot. So that was something I couldn't believe, that I was in this domestic violence situation and being abused by somebody I was considering family, someone I was married to, someone later on down the line that I had kids with. You know what I mean? And so I couldn't believe I was in this situation. But I remember one thing that he used to tell me all the time. He used to tell me basically that I wasn't shit. And I don't know why you think so much of yourself, because I already put 2 seeds in you. Nobody else is going to want you. You ain't going to be able to do shit without me. And anywhere you go, I'm going to follow you. So I'm going to know where you at all the time. I got all kind of people out here. So I'll be able to track you down. So you might as well just keep your ass right here. Yeah, that's what he would tell me. So you start feeling like the odds are against you. But a lot of times what kept me going, you guys, is I would go and I would look in my bathroom mirror. And I would look at myself. You know, and I would tell myself different affirmations. Charlotte, you are enough. You are worthy. You will get out of this. You are stronger than your circumstance. Don't believe him. God has you. Those would be the things that I would say to myself often, just to keep going until I could get out of it. And I remember, and I don't think I've ever shared this with anybody, but I remember that it was one particular time when I used to go to Bible study. I would take my kids to Bible study with me. They were very young then. But I remember I went to Bible study. And Mr. Daniel saw me that day. He said, you don't look happy. And I said, I'm really not. And I started crying. And I told him that I really want to leave my marriage. But he keeps spending all the money that I'm making. And I don't know how to get out of the house and actually move. I told him that I had also, you know, I had applied for another place. It was an apartment. We were living in the house. But I had applied for an apartment. And it was basically like low income, right? And I had myself on the waiting list. It's like I was thinking ahead, but didn't even realize I was thinking ahead, right? So I want to say I have been on the waiting list for like 4 years. When all this was transpiring, they had called me. And they said, you're next on the list. Would you like us to put you back on the list? Because that's what I had kept doing over the years. They would tell me before, you're next on the list. I said, just put me back on the list. Let me know when I get back up on the list. So this time, I was next on the list. So they called me. I said, I'm going to take it. At the time, I was living in Hesperia, California. This was going to be in Los Angeles. So I told him, Mr. Daniels, that I would have to move all my things and whatnot and try to get them in storage until this place is available. It was going to take like either 2 weeks to a month for this place to be available for me and my kids, right? So he said, okay. He said, who do you bank with? Like straight up, who do you bank with? And him and his wife were always, you know, loving and kind to my daughters. I never forget that. I haven't talked to Mr. Daniels in years, but he doesn't know how dear he was to my life and fundamental. And that's the thing, when you're going through a domestic violence situation, you don't know where that help is going to come from, but God is going to take care of you, okay? And so all you got to do is keep having faith and keep yourself upbuilt until that fundamental moment comes before you. And so Mr. Daniel said, when you get home, send me your bank account number and check your account tomorrow, and you'll have everything that you need. Like, I'm not even kidding. I want to say it was like 1,000 or 1,500, something like that. And when I tell you the next day, just like he said, it was in my account. And him and his wife told me, you don't have to worry about paying it back. We want you and the kids to be fine. I hope I'm not going to tear up right now. I'm really trying. That's one of the reasons I got these sunglasses on. Because you guys know I'm blind as a bat. But I was crying earlier at the domestic violence event. It was this guy that got up there. And he couldn't hold his composure. He started crying and I started crying with him. I'm so emotional. So that's why I was like, let me put these glasses on, because I don't want to be crying on, a live or a video or on camera, period. So needless to say, they helped me out. I was able to get a truck. I was able to put all my things in storage, what my husband didn't steal from me, because he tried to hijack a lot of my things or throw them away to be vindictive. And so what he didn't damage and what he didn't take away from me and my kids, needless to say, let me go back okay? Prior to this, I had did income taxes. He didn't get any money back because he wanted to file separately. So I filed and I got money back, right? So I went and got a new sofa set, coffee tables, a new king size bed for our bedroom. When I tell you, a whole bunch of stuff. Well, he intercepted because I had got movers and we had to get 2 trucks, right? Because we had a pretty big house. So he intercepted one of the moving trucks with whoever he got to get him over there. He took the couches, the set, the coffee tables. He took the king size bed and whatever else he wanted to take, right? So moving into our new house, me and my kids, right? We didn't have any couches. Now those are his kids too. But look, trying to get at me, look what he did. But needless to say, I was always a hard worker. At one point I was working 3 jobs. I was able to get a futon. That's what I started with, because I couldn't get a whole full couch set. But I started with a futon in my living room. I got some new coffee tables. I got a dinette set. And I got my daughter's the bunk bed set. And this place that now we were going to, we went from a 2-3 bedroom house to now a 1 bedroom house. But I had my peace. My kids had the peace. Even though they didn't see a lot of things that went on, because I shielded them from it. I didn't want them to grow up as little girls thinking that it was okay for a man to treat you like their dad was treating me. And also, I wanted them to know their worth as, young ladies growing up into young women. That you can definitely do better than this. Your mom found herself in a situation like this, but I'd be damned if y'all find yourself in the same situation. I want you to know my strength. and the love that I have for you is what's allowing me and helping me at the same time to be strong to get myself out of this situation. So that was very important to me, you know. One of the things that I found interesting too, it says as far as the statistics, blacks have the highest ethnicity of domestic violence. Blacks do. That's interesting. I find that interesting. And I mean, we could talk about what I'm thinking on another occasion, but I find that interesting because when you're going through something like this, it would be so helpful to have your family around you. And what I notice with a lot of blacks is we don't have that tightness. And if you tell something to somebody, 9 times out of 10, they're going to throw it in your face. And when you're going through a domestic violence situation, that's the last thing you want to hear. That everything your abuser was telling you is really factual. You know what I mean? You have nobody. You're going to think about me at... Nobody's going to love you like I do. You're going to see how hard you're going to have it with 2 kids. Yeah, I definitely over the years saw how hard I had it. But I kept pushing through. Trying to go to a job interview. Nobody wanted to watch my kids. Trying to better myself. Trying to get someone, my car broke down. I need to get to the store. Nobody wanted to take me. So I'm getting a push cart and getting on the bus with 2 kids to do it. Got to go wash my clothes and my kids' clothes. I'm walking 10 blocks to the wash house and back. No family to help. So a lot of the things that he did say was true, but God helped me to have the strength to overcome it and to get back on my feet and get another car and get another job and then later get a babysitter, because the job that I had got, I had to be to work at 6 o'clock in the morning all the way in Pasadena, and I needed a babysitter at 4 o'clock in the morning so I could make sure I get there on time. And guess where God placed that babysitter? Right next to my new apartment. She was in the house next door to my apartment. So I literally can walk from my apartment to her house, drop the girls off. She'll get them to school and feed them and everything. And then I can head to work. So I guess what the moral of the story is, this is the moral of the story. It gets better. You'll be all right. God is going to take care of you and your kids.